Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Yesterday in the House, the Minister responsible for PAVCO questioned the safety of the new $21 million floatplane terminal. Later in the day, he said in an interview that there are, quote, indications that there is a potential for a safety hazard, and on that basis it would be inappropriate for us to require Harbour Air to move until we're convinced the facility is safe. There are still 2 floatplane companies operating out of that terminal, a terminal that the Minister now says is not safe enough for Harbour Air to use. Will the Minister explain to this House how it's safe for them to use the terminal, not for Harbour Air?
Minister.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. Every pilot is ultimately responsible for their aircraft. Each pilot has the responsibility to determine whether or not the facility that they are using, the aircraft that they are using, is safe for passenger service. That's something I learned as a private pilot, Mr. Speaker. The pilots that are continuing to use the floatplane facility are actually flying aircraft that are of a different type. They've assessed that that facility is suitable for that particular aircraft type. The Osenko-Sandwell report indicates there are challenges with other aircraft types that need to be addressed. We're waiting for a fuller report. It would be inappropriate for PAVCO or for any government, and for the member opposite, for that matter, Mr. Speaker, to require a movement of aircraft to a facility that still has question marks as to its safety.
Member has supplemental.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Well, nearly a year ago, the Minister who's just answered this question was urging that all floatplanes go to that terminal, which he now says may be unsafe for Harbour Air. Harbour Air, for the House's knowledge, operates nearly 95% of the floatplane flights in and out of the Vancouver Harbour. The Minister's PAVCO specified what kind of docks and the setup for the new terminal would have. They demanded a fancy facility, which increased costs. The government demanded a facility as it stands now, a facility which doesn't work for 95% of the flights. The government is now being sued. My question to the Minister: why would his Liberal government approve floatplane design, dock design that doesn't work for the majority of floatplanes in BC?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this government, PAVCO, do not design docks. That's done by professionals. The company, Vancouver Harbour Flight Centre, did the design criteria for the docks. We're reviewing that process, but I am absolutely sure of this, Mr. Speaker. I am absolutely sure that the member opposite would not advocate that aircraft be put in a risk as to their safety on a facility, and I'm sure that the member opposite would not require that move if there was some concern as to the safety of the aircraft and the passengers on them.